Interaction brought to you courtesy of the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, where they are unpacking the Fiscalization Data Management System, FDMS, and I am joined by Munyaradzi Matura. I'm joined also by Bendik Shondo, Dananai Chibonda, who are going to help us understand what this FDMS is, how it works, and how it can boost your business, how it can assist you. And we're also going to hear how it's going to assist all the taxpayers out there. So you can join us live on Facebook at ZIMRA Official. You can also join us live on Star FM. My name is Spatisiwe Mpofu. Welcome aboard. You can also share your comments, your questions, your contributions via our Facebook pages on Star FM at ZIMRA. You can send in your questions and our officers are going to respond to those questions. Yeah, so I'll start with you, Munyaradzi. Is it okay to open the fiscal day, prepare an invoice, and then close it after issuing the invoice? And if there is any invoice later on the day, do we reopen?
All right, thank you, Spati. Good morning, Zimbabwe, wherever you are. Maybe before I answer your question, just a brief outlay of the FDMS system. So when we say someone is fiscalized, we are saying they have configured fiscal devices that they use to record sales and other tax information in real time, and that information is then transmitted to our ZIMRA servers. So once they have configured, it needs to be interfaced, and interfacing, we're just saying we are linking the device that you have configured to the FDMS system. So is FDMS short for Fiscalization Data Management System, a system which is able to record, receive, and process information which is going to be received from the fiscal devices. These may either be hardware devices which you can touch, or software devices which are referring to as virtual fiscal devices. So to come back to your question, yes, you can open and close as many fiscal days within a particular calendar day. The calendar day we know is 24 hours, but a fiscal day can be 1 hour, can be 2 hours, can be 8 hours, depending on the nature of operations of any other business. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much. Let me come to you, Bendik. If we create a credit note for an invalid invoice, will it not be that we are duplicating the same error, which means both the credit note and the invoice will give errors?
Good morning, Zimbabwe. When you have an invalid, when you want to create a credit note, we are saying you can create a valid credit note on an invalid invoice. That is the correct way of cancelling a wrong invoice. And to add on the background, which was talked about by Munya, on about FDMS, we are saying all VAT registered clients are expected to be on FDMS. Thank you.
Okay, and maybe let me come back to you, Munya, before I go to Dananai. Take us through the process, because we see that we now have an informal economy. Akawanda varimo vanenge vachida kuti vapinde muchirongwa ichi. How do you incorporate the informal sector on this system?
All right, thank you for that question. As Mr. Shondo highlighted, this system or the fiscalization requirement is only targeting VAT registered clients which are surpassing a threshold of about 25,000 USD per annum. So for the informal economy, we are saying for as long as we are registered for VAT, we are supposed to be fiscalized. However, there are those who are not yet reaching the VAT threshold. They are not required by law to be on FDMS, but we are working on reviewing and improving our legislation so that we also take them on board.
Thank you, and I know people really want to know what's the benefit to this. Okay, so is it mandatory, Dananai, to validate invoices issued to customers?
Thank you, and good morning, Zimbabwe. When it comes to the validation of invoices, it would be good for you if you validate, because that is the only way in which you can confirm whether the invoice that you've been given is valid or not. Then, if you get an invoice that is invalid, just know that as a client, you will not be able to claim input tax using that invoice. All invoices that are invalid, they will not be accepted when it comes to claiming input tax. Only valid invoices will be accepted. So just ensure the invoices that you've been given are valid. That way, you are rest assured that you'll be able to claim input tax. I thank you.
The Zimbabwe Revenue Authority launched the terms, but how do I then know if a customer is registered on the system and has a TIN number? Munyaradzi.
Oh, okay. You need to request a tax clearance from that supplier or wherever you have acquired the goods or services, so that you can scan and verify whether they are registered with ZIMRA.
Okay. So if you're just joining us, welcome. This is an interaction that is brought to you courtesy of the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, and we are unpacking the Fiscalization Data Management System, and our officers here are going to, are rather explaining to us how this is of benefit to those tax compliant businesses. You can also join us live on Star FM page. You can join us on ZIMRA page on Facebook. You can send in your contributions there. You can send your questions. Our officers are going to respond to those questions. If you have any challenges that you might face, please feel free to also share on Facebook, or you can actually come to ZIMRA offices, because they are here for you. They are here to serve you and the entire nation. So you are free to send in your comments, your contributions via our WhatsApp platforms as well. So I would like to say good morning to wherever you are, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome aboard. So Bendik, if I lose invoices, will I be able to have them retrieved by ZIMRA? Is there a way to recover anything on our database?
Okay, for one to recover invoice, it's not the duty for ZIMRA to provide or to recover the invoices. It is the duty of the client through this his or her system provider. So the one who provides the accounting software or the point of sale software or of sale system is the one who should provide a backup system. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure my businesses, Anzi, if in case you lose your invoices, Anzi, you then have to go to your service provider. You can then retrieve your information there. Yeah, so Dananai, if you can also clarify what details are expected as a mandatory buyer on field.
Thank you for the question. When it comes to the buyer's details on an invoice, as you are aware, we have the requirement in our Act, which is Section 20, subsection 4 of the VAT Act. These buyer's details should, you should have the buyer's name, which is the registered name. We should also have the buyer's TIN and VAT number. We should also have the buyer's address. Those are mandatory according to the VAT Act. But you should also note that FDMS has a provision for the phone number and the email address. Hence, this should also be included. We communicated this through public notice number 30 of 2025. Hence, you should ensure that these details are captured in full. This is important as these details will ensure that all your details are posted in terms on your self-service portal when you will be able to claim input tax on the terms SSP. Those details have to be posted in FDMS. So it's not only about having the details on your physical invoice or on your accounting system, but is ensuring that when you click the review invoice option on your invoice, you actually see the buyer's name, you see their TIN, you see their VAT number, you see their address, you see the phone number, and the email address also posted in FDMS.
Thank you so much for that. And Munyaradzi, what would be the HS code for those goods or for the services offered, especially in the construction industry? Let's say consultant services and project management services.
All right, thank you for that question. So maybe for those who may not know what an HS code is, it's HS is short for Harmonized System Codes. So we inherited these codes from our custom side. They are mainly used when clients or taxpayers import goods outside Zimbabwe. So as FDMS, we have also incorporated HS codes. Remember, I talked about configuring fiscal devices earlier on. These are some of the rules that are configured on the fiscal device, so that whenever they sell, we are able to determine what commodity has been sold, by who and where. So having said that, we cannot import a service, we cannot import a construction service or a consultant service. We have assigned codes that are specifically for the provision of services. And one, if you are providing a service which is standard rated, which attracts a rate of 15%, the code is 9900 1000. 9900 1000 for standard rated. If you are supplying a service which is zero rated, the code is 9900 2000. 9900 2000 for zero rated. Then for exempt, it's 9900 3000. Those are the three codes that apply to the provision of services. Thank you.
Okay, so Bendik, if a day is not a closing and opening, what then do I do as a business? Okay,
As a business, you should contact ZIMRA to close the day for you. You can send an email to gsangare@zimra.co.zw. You can also copy csimango@zimra.co.zw. When a day is not closing, it shows that your device is a configuration problem which must be solved by your device supplier. As ZIMRA, we close the day for you, but we encourage you to contact your supplier as well so that the problem is solved. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much. I hope you do understand, as businesses, if you encounter any challenges, Bendik says, you can then contact ZIMRA offices so that they can assist you, but then it's also a sign that maybe your system is not working well, which means you then have to go back to your service provider so that that is fixed. Okay, and all right, let me come back to the lady. I think you've been quiet for some time now. If the invoice is not valid, what should we do?
Okay, thank you for the question. Whenever you get an invoice that is not valid, as I explained before, that invoice cannot be used to claim input tax. But the beauty of FDMS is that the moment you scan that invoice, just above the review invoice option, you will see the details of the error that would have caused that invoice not to be valid. The errors, they range. Sometimes it could be because of an incorrect computed tax amount. It could be because the invoice is signature errors. It could be because maybe the amount including tax has not been computed properly, but it tells you exactly what the error is. So what you should do now is to ensure you check if the error is something that is within your control. Just correct that error. If it is beyond your control, you don't know how to resolve it, you get in touch with your solution provider, your fiscalization solution provider. If it is your device supplier, get in touch with them. Ask them to rectify that error. It is only when that error has been rectified that you will be able to now issue an invoice that is valid, and this is the invoice that you can use to claim input tax. As long as an invoice is invalid, that means if it is not valid, then it cannot be used to claim input tax. Thank you.
And what do we do still on that one with errors that are that we are getting, like on credit notes before the HS or was implemented.
Okay,
How do we then correct those errors?
Thank you. So whenever you get an invoice that is validation errors which causes the invoice to be invalid, you should ensure first of all that you issue a credit note. That is the only way in which you can correct that invoice. It cannot be amended, so you issue a credit note, then you reissue an invoice that is valid. That means an invoice without validation errors. That is how you can correct that issue. Then when it comes to the issue to do with HS codes, these HS codes, when it comes to issuing credit notes, whether an invoice was issued before before the issue to do with HS codes was communicated, it does not affect the issuance of credit notes. So if you issued an invoice maybe before you implemented the HS codes on the invoice, you can still issue a credit note without any errors, because when it comes to credit notes, reference is only made to the initial invoice that was captured in the first place. So the issue of HS codes does not affect the issue of capturing of credit notes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, we are taking a short break. We'll be back after those messages. Please stay with us. You can continue sending your contributions, your questions via our WhatsApp platforms at ZIMRA Official, at Star FM Zimbabwe. Let's keep the conversation going. If you have any challenges, you can also send your questions there. Our officers are ready to respond to each and every question that's going to be raised. And as we are taking this break, continue thinking around this fiscalization data management system. What are the issues? What are the challenges that you are facing? What is it that you need assistance with? And then if you share your questions, our officers are going to respond. We'll be back after this message. Good morning. Welcome back to our second segment. Brought to you courtesy of the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority as we are unpacking the Fiscalization Data Management System, FDMS, and I'm joined by 4 officers, Munyaradzi Matura, Bendik Shondo, and Dananai Chibonda, who are helping us with this discussion, and to those who are joining us live on our Facebook pages at Star FM Zimbabwe, at ZIMRA Official. Thank you so much for keeping the conversation going, and thank you for the questions and comments that are coming through. My name is Spatisiwe Mpofu, and good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are joining us live from. Are you an employer? If yes, then please do remember that your payment for pay as you earn was due yesterday. That is on the 10th of September. And if you are registered for the following tax heads, that is all withholding taxes, intermediate money transfer tax, IMTT, mining royalties, presumptive tax, they were also due yesterday. And yeah, so let's build our nation by taxes in full and on time. Thank you so much. So let me quickly take one message that came through our Facebook page, where our listener is asking if you can expand on the concept of dealing with a supplier without a tax clearance, and he's asking how it affects his business tax-wise. Maybe Dananai, if you can respond to him.
Thank you, Spati, for the question. When you are dealing with a supplier who does not have a tax clearance, this means this supplier is not compliant with their tax obligations. Whenever a supplier is compliant with their tax obligations, they should be having a valid tax clearance. Now coming to the impact on your business. If you're dealing with a supplier who is not tax compliant, that means probably they are not remitting their tax, but we want to get that tax from that supplier. It becomes your duty now to ensure that you withhold 30% of the payment that you were supposed to pay to be given, and then you remit that amount to ZIMRA. If you fail to do that, we will require that amount from you. So this is how it affects your business. When a supplier does not have a tax clearance, 30% should be withheld and it's remitted to ZIMRA. If it doesn't, if you do not withhold it, then we will require that amount from your business. Thank you.
Indeed, I'm sure Mabatsirikana Paneva Marukuti, please Tauraine Shona. We will try and incorporate Shona and Isindebele for the benefit of those who are joining us from various locations. Yeah, so she was explaining Kuti Kana Washandi Sao supplier asina tax clearance, as kubadara mitero yake, as compliant, anzi raba sarako iwewe. Se business kuti unobata 30% ya unozoendesa kuzimra isi yako 30%. I think we need to really get that message out there. Kuti unakubata kunzi chingobata uchengete mari iyi. Nekuti kana yakuteerera ZIMRA ndopa yepa munozoti takuzobatirwa mari dzakawanda tazodini, nekuti wazonge wachengeta mari isiri yako. That money is not yours. You get your that 30% from the wacho arikufanira kukubhadhara wakubata iwe umtero wako 30%. Wachiuendesa ndiwe kuzimra ndo matsananguriro aita Dananai. Tichiendera mberi nechirongwa, coming to you Nyaradzi, tambotaura nyaya ye-HS system anditi, maybe if you can also explain the timelines since maga introducer, this is a new system, vakawanda vasati vazvinzwisisa kuti tinofanira kuita same. So what is exactly is the timeline as to when this needs to be live or implemented by a business?
All right, thank you very much for that question. There is no timeline as yet for configuration of HS codes. However, it is advised that we do that as early as possible, so that when the deadlines are set, you'll be on the safe side and you'll be good to go. Thank you.
Siyabonga ke kulabo ke abasanda kusixhuma lisithola ku Facebook ku page lethu ela Star FM Zimbabwe, lisithola njalo ku page ele ZIMRA Zimbabwe Revenue Authority. Sikhuluma ke ngohlelo abalusungulileyo olwe Fiscalization Data Management System. Luhlelo ke eluluthola kusetshenziswa imichini yakulezi insuku, liluthola ebulenjini lapho nelisa khona ukuthi lihlawulele imithelo yenu echiyeneyo lisebenzisa imichina in the comfort of your offices. You don't need to really travel to ZIMRA offices. That's why you do all those things in the comfort of your offices. Marerutsirwa saka apana pekuzonzi tatadza kubhadhara mitero yedu, tatadza kudai, saka ndozva tirikurukura nezvazvo nhasi vachititsanangurira kuti zviri kumbofamba sei, munofanira kunge muchizvifambisa sei. Bendik, if you can also explain to us in view of the hospitality industry where we charge ZTA, how do we then calculate the output tax?
Okay, thank you for the question. But before I answer the question, I would want to go back to the question which was on Facebook page about what effect of not having a supplier who has no tax clearance. The other thing, upon withholding the 30%, you are supposed to remit it to ZIMRA. If you fail, I want to emphasize that, if you fail, penalty of 100% will be charged to you. Then I'm now going back to the question about calculating.
Sorry, maybe before you go there, if you say penalty of 100%, this 100% is charged on what? The tax that was supposed to be remitted, or?
The tax which was supposed to be remitted, that is the 30%.
Okay. All right, so you can go ahead.
Then going back on VAT calculations for those ones in the concerning the ZTA levy, we are saying VAT is calculated on amounts before ZTA levy and fast foods tax is charged. So make sure with your device supplier or software provider that it is configured to make sure VAT is calculated before ZTA levy and fast foods tax is charged. VAT calculations do not affect ZTA levy and fast foods tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Please keep the questions, comments coming through our Facebook page at Star FM Zimbabwe at ZIMRA Official, where you can ask any question concerning the topic that is on discussion, which is Fiscalization Data Management System. If you're facing any challenges as a business, please feel free to ask any question, and our officers here are going to respond to that. And I think I will allocate the first 10 minutes of our third and final segment to those questions, where our officers are going to then respond to your questions. So please keep those questions coming. Thank you so much. My messages tichazo respond to some of your questions. Of course, because of time, we can't respond to all of them, but ticha yedza nepatino kwanisa kuti in the first 10 minutes of our third and final segment, we respond to those questions. So Mnyaradzi, if I choose to apportion my input tax and claim, say, 50% this month, will that tax invoice be available the next period for claiming the remainder of the input tax?
All right, thank you for that. Once you claim 50% of that tax invoice, the remainder cannot be claimed in the next period. It will be disallowed. So you need to claim it in full in that month that you have chosen to claim it. So once you apportion your tax invoice, it won't be available for claiming input tax in the next period.
So in other words, you're saying kuti kana usina zvine zvatongovarana?
Yes, that's what we are saying. We are saying, let's say you are issued an invoice which is about 100 USD. Then you decide to claim the half of the input tax on that invoice and you leave the remainder. The remainder won't be available in the next period.
Thank you so much. Ndinotenda tiri kunzwisisa tiri kubata so that atisangane nema challenges patinenge tichifambisa zvirongwa izvi tisazotanga kupomera ZIMRA mhosva takoti mhosva ya ZIMRA yazotibatirawo zvakati ive yazotibhadharisa mitero yakati. And I think tanzwa pendika chitsanangura issue ye withholding tax yaya kana wazotadza kuremita ataura kuti pane penalty ye 100% kana wanga uchifanira kunobhadhara kuendesa $100 ka aiwaka wakutozobhadhara imwe pamusoro kana wazenge wakundikana kuti unge uchibhadhara. So please let's ensure that we are compliant. Let's learn to do things on time. Tisamirira nguva nekuti nguva ikadai and ma taxes acho achiramba achiwedzera chikwereti chikakura chinonetsa kubhadhara. So Mnyaradzi, let's continue with our conversation. If I have a tax invoice that is not FDMS compliant and invalid under VAT, will I be able to use the same invoice under income tax for deductions?
All right, thank you. So that invoice, which is disallowed for VAT purposes, is also automatically disallowed for claiming as an expenditure under the income tax computations. Why? Because the same reasons why the invoice was disallowed for input tax under VAT will also affect its eligibility under when you are claiming for expenses when you submit your income tax return. So with the FDMS regime, once it's disallowed for VAT, it's also disallowed for income tax purposes.
Thank you, Tinotenda Zvikuru. So Anzi, if your invoice is not FDMS compliant, you cannot then use it for claiming income tax deductions. Anzi azvitenderwi saka ngatiedzei kuti tione kuti mapepa edu systems edu they are all in order nguva dzose. Bendik, if we are renting a property and invoices come in the name of the owner, that is the landlord, are we able to claim input tax when bills come in the name of the property owner?
Okay, thank you for the question. Again, before I answer that question, we're talking about that there are penalties charged when a person fails to remit to ZIMRA, money to ZIMRA. In that regard, we are saying we encourage you to pay your taxes in full and in time to avoid penalties. It's not only penalties, interest is also charged. $1 today is not the same as the dollar which is going to be received tomorrow. Okay, then coming back to your question, if invoices are coming in the name of the landlord and you are renting, according to the law, you can only claim using a fiscal tax invoice that has your tax details. That is your TIN number. It has to be show your name. Everything has to be in your name. So if it is in the name of the landlord, you are not allowed to claim. The landlord is allowed to claim since the information is coming into his name. So you have to make an arrangement with your landlord so that invoices can be your name if you are renting out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So which means there is no other way where I then have to claim or Panama arrangements and ndokwanisa kuita ire na landlord for that to happen.
Whoever is providing the supplier to the landlord, maybe the landlord can address to that supplier of that service to address
So
the
that the
name in the
invoice
name of
comes
the,
in your
the
name.
name in the name of the tenant.
Thank you so much. Tinotenda hanzi kana uchida kuti unge uchiclaima tax I property yamuri kurenta iyi kana isiri muzita rako haukwanise kudaro nekuti you can only claim if it's in your name. Asi Bendik ari kutsanangura kuti you can also make arrangements with the landlord kuti vanoendesa zita ndizvo, if I got you right, vanoendesa zita kuna supplier rinova zita rako, rikazouya mapepa ane zita rako, that's the only way you can then claim. But haukwanise kana zvisiri muzita rako ndofunga ndinovimba kuti tapa batisisa. Rambai muchitumira ma questions enyu, please follow the conversation. Kana pane zvimwe zvatataura kumashure zvamuchiri kuda kunzwisisa, please feel free as well to send your questions or even your comments concerning those issues. Okay, so Danai, if let's talk about my errors in invoice. What causes the error invoice not found? Because trukushandisa mushini kauyu anditi andapanja ma details angu and then zvabuda invoice not found. Chichinenge chaitika. What happens?
Okay, thank you. Right, maybe before I get to the question, let me explain a bit about how FDMS operate. FDMS is a receiver. It cannot get to your accounting system. Haigoni kupinda kupastel dzenyu, kusage dzenyu dziriko koko. Inotora zvainenge yapiwa, zvainenge yatumirwa kubva ku accounting system yenyu. So what happens is that when you capture your invoice from your accounting system and probably the device is offline, it is not connected such that the information hasn't reached FDMS. Within 24 hours, inonyora message yakanzi invoice not yet received or invoice not yet registered. That is just telling you that yes, you have captured the invoice, it has the QR code, it has all the invoice number, the 16-digit character code, everything is there, but FDMS hasn't received that invoice. It's still pending. If 24 hours lapse again before that invoice is posted in FDMS, the message changes to invoice not found. That message remains up until that invoice is posted in FDMS. So whenever you see an invoice saying invoice is not found, that invoice, we have not yet received it. Probably your device was offline and you need to ensure that the invoice is posted in FDMS. The moment the invoice is posted in FDMS, the status changes. If it does not have validation errors, it changes to invoice is valid. If it has validation errors, it changes to invoice is not valid, and you will see the details of the errors on above the review invoice option. Thank you.
Okay, so Anzi, kana tazosangana nema message iwawo wapanja waisa invoice yako and then you see that message inoti invoice not found, vatsanangura Danai kuti dzimwe dzenguva mshini wako pamwe uri offline or not, but unofanira ku make sure kuti you have sent that invoice and it's posted to the FDMS and anzi kana uchiramba uchiona izvozvo it shows kuti inenge iri pending, haisati yaenda invoice yako iyi. So you have to ensure kuti unoramba uchitumira woona kuti zveshuwa invoice yangu yaenda, usangoti ndapanja chete ndobva ndaregedza, because zvakawanda zvinoitika nema machines edu, dzimwe nguva pamwe yadzima you are offline yobva yatadza kuenda, iwo wozoti but ndakatumira musi wakati. So this is what she explained. Thank you so much. So Bendik, let's talk about how we claim input tax for invoices that don't have buyer's details.
Okay, thank you. We are saying you cannot claim input tax on an invoice without all features. Buyer details have to be there. An invoice has to show the name of the buyer, the TIN number of the buyer, the address of the buyer, his phone number, email. We are saying information was sent to taxpayers through Public Notice 8 last year that buyer details should be there on the invoices. And suppliers are also encouraged to make sure buyer details are configured on the fiscal device to machines that I should be able to capture the buyer's details. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to claim using such an invoice. If the invoice was issued sometime last year, those ones will be dealt on a case-by-case basis depending on the merit. But as for now, make sure all the devices have been configured to capture buyer's details so that you won't have any problems in claiming input tax. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that note, we take a short break. We'll be back after this message. Stay with us. Welcome back to our third and final segment brought to you by the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority as we are discussing Fiscalization Data Management System, how it works, how it really it helps your business and what is the impact of not being compliant. This is what we are discussing this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are joining us from, as we are live also on Facebook, our Facebook pages, ZIMRA Official, Star FM Zimbabwe. My name is Patiswe Mpofu and I am joined by ZIMRA officers Munyaradzi Matura, Bendik Shondo, as well as Dananai Ichibonda, who are helping us with those conversations. Like I said earlier, before we took a break, I mentioned that we are going to be responding to some questions that are coming through our Facebook page. So I think I will start with, let's see, the questions that came through. I think, Bendik, if you can respond to these ones. Our listener wants to in fact, they want more information on fiscalized tax invoices, and someone also asked what happens when your supplier invoice only has seller details and not a buyer. Can we still claim VAT? Maybe if you can respond to those.
Okay, so basically I'll talk about the features of a fiscal tax invoice. We are saying the word fiscal tax invoice must be in a prominent place, easily seen. And we are also saying the names of the buyer and seller of the goods must be there, must be shown, invoice number, invoice date, the description of the goods being sold, quantity, then the VAT being charged. It's either you can charge it's VAT inclusive or you separate price excluding VAT, then VAT to have the total amount. Then the other question was, should I claim?
Can I still claim VAT if the invoice only has seller details and not the buyer?
Okay. When an invoice does not have the buyer details, there was a public notice which was issued some time ago that we were going to claim by the 31st of May. So as going forward, we are saying no invoice should be claimed if there are no buyer details. Make sure the buyer's details are there. Everything is there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just a quick reminder, if you are an employer, you are reminded that your payment for Pay As You Earn was due yesterday, the 10th of September. And if you are registered for the following tax heads, that is withholding taxes, immediate money transfer tax, IMTT, mining royalties, presumptive tax, they were also due yesterday. Let's build our nation by taxes in full and on time. Isikhumbuzo ke kulabo ababhadala ke imthelo we value added tax esiyithi ke yiVAT, liyakhunjuzwa ukuthi umthelo ke kaNcwabakazi, that is August, bekumele ubhadalwe mhla ka-15 kumele ubhadalwe mhla ka-15 Mpandula engakedluli. So on or before that date yikho ke lapho elikhangelelwa ukuthi libe selibhadele ke ithelo yenu. Let me come to you, Munyaradzi. There is also a question that was asked on Facebook. As the listener wants to know if you need to redo another invoice due to errors on the invoice, should the credit not be fiscalized?
All right, thank you. Before I turn to that one, maybe I just want to add on what Mr. Shondo said in relation to the features of a fiscal tax invoice. So under the current regime of the FDMS system, we are saying in addition to those features that Mr. Shondo highlighted, you also see a QR code or a 16 character authentication code, which you can use to verify whether that invoice is genuine or not. That is where you can now encounter errors that we were talking about before: invoice not found, invoice not yet received, or invoice is valid. So you can use that QR code or the authentication codes to verify whether that invoice issued to you is genuine or not. Coming back to the question, yes, the credit note needs to be fiscalized. As I highlighted earlier, the FDMS system receives information in relation to sales and other transactions. And these sales transactions that we're referring to is in relation to the fiscal tax invoices, in relation to the credit notes, in relation to the debit notes. Previously, we were not able to issue credit notes or debit notes because we had not improved our systems, but under FDMS, you can now issue a credit note or a debit note. So if you now need to redo the invoice, the original invoice which had errors can be reversed using the fiscal credit note, and it also needs to be fiscalized. So all the documents, they're supposed to be fiscalized.
Okay, let me come to Danai. Another question also on Facebook says, if a fiscal tax invoice is missing some information like TIN and VAT, will it be valid?
Thank you, Spati. When the invoice has missing information like the TIN and the VAT number, these are requirements according to Section 20, subsection 4 of the VAT Act. That invoice is not valid and it cannot be used to claim input tax. Of course, you'd find that when it comes to the configurations that were done in FDMS, if the buyer's details block is left blank, that means it has nothing on it. It does not have a TIN, it does not have a name of the buyer. That invoice will actually validate and it comes as valid. That means according to the configurations that were done in FDMS, it comes as valid. But because legislation requires you to have the buyer's details posted, then you should ensure the buyer's details are there in full, including the TIN number, the VAT number, the address. And according to the public notice that we did send, we also need the contact details posted. Thank you.
And Mnyaradzi, for those who are making exempt supplies, are they supposed to register?
All right. Those who solely trade in exempt commodities or services, they are not supposed to register for VAT, which means they are not supposed to charge any VAT on their commodities. However, it may come at a time that that company is now providing both services that are exempt and services that are standard rated and some that are zero rated. For as long as the standard rated ones and the zero rated ones are exceeding 25,000, they are supposed to register, regardless of the amounts that they are receiving from the exempt. But to sum up, exempt supplies, you are not supposed to register for VAT.
Thank you so much. Ndofunga tanzo kuneva changotibata chirongwa chatiri kunzirwa neZimbabwe Revenue Authority patiri kukurukura pamusoro peurongwa hwamunoshandisa semabhizimusi padande mutande wekuti muke muchibhadhara mitero yenyu muchiitawo maprocesses akasiyana muri mumaofisi enyu pasina kufamba nzendo dzekuti muke muchienda kuZIMRA. Tiri kuona kuti iri kutorijusawo zvekare kamacosts ndizvo Mnyaradzi, because macosts ekuzofamba kuuya kumaofisi kwenyu ndiri kutoita ndiri muofisi mangu, and this is the benefit of this system yakaiswa neZIMRA, nekuti vari kutoti aiwaka tiri kuda kuti tishandidzane zvakanaka pasina ari kuti inini ndiri kuremerwa nechakati. Let me come to you, Bendik. What should we do to validate an invoice that goes beyond 24 hours after opening the fiscal day?
To validate an invoice, you simply have to close the fiscal day, then it will validate. We encourage all our taxpayers to make sure they close the fiscal day within 24 hours of opening it. This will help also you to check whether your invoice is valid or not, it will sit on our server. So basically, you have to close your fiscal day to make sure an invoice is validated. Thank you.
Thank you. And also, please note that in the interest of time, we cannot respond to all your questions, but thank you so much for the overwhelming response, your comments, your contributions. We really do value them. We appreciate them. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. What ZIMRA will do, they will respond to those contributions, your comments, right in the comment section. Yeah, so you can keep them coming. There'll be someone who's going to be responding to those questions. Saka mukazoona question yako ya jambo musadzoti aiwa inini ndasarudzwa inyaya yenguva yekuti nguva yedu haisi kutitendera kuti tinge tichidaira mibvunzo yese iri kuuya, and that doesn't mean kuti mibvunzo isina kudairwa pano pamhepo tichitaura haina kukosha, aiwa yakatikoshera zvekutodaro. So we are going to make sure all those questions are responded to. So Danai, another question that is coming through is, do I have to pick all the invoices in the month, or can I use some invoices at a later date?
Thank you. When it comes to claiming input tax, I'm sure as you are aware, the legislation gives you 12 months to claim input tax on invoices that are valid fiscal tax invoices. It's only during this transitional period where we require you to claim all input tax, because we are moving from a manual system to an automated system. So as we are moving to an automated system, it will only be those invoices that will be captured after the cutoff date that will be available for the purposes of claiming input tax. Otherwise, you have 12 months after this integration is done. You have 12 months to claim input tax on invoices. So if you do not want to claim an invoice during this period that you are capturing your return, it will still be available in the next period. Then you can pick it as long as it is before the 12 months period. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So like I said earlier on, you keep your comments, your questions coming through our WhatsApp platform so that our officers can respond. But just a quick reminder, isikhumbuzo kulabana ke ababhadala umthelo we value added tax, ukuthi umthelo lo kumele ke okancwabakazi oka August kumele ubhadalwe umhla ka 15 September engakedluli. Mnotariswa ukuthi vese vanobhadara mitero ye VAT munge mchibhadara mitero ya August muswa 15 September usati wadarika ndo nguva ya muri kutarisirwa kuti munge mchibhadara. And if you are an employer, you reminded that payment for payers UN was due yesterday, that is the 10th of September. And if you are registered for the following tax heads: all withholding taxes, intermediate money transfer tax, IMTT, mining royalties, presumptive tax, they were also due yesterday. So please, let's build our country by taxes in full and on time. Ukubhadala ke imthelo yethu ngesikhathi njalo siyibhadala ngokugcweleyo kuqhakathekile kakhulu, ngoba ke yikho okwenza ukuthi ilizwe lethu liqhubekele phambili. Zvakakosha ukuthi tingechibhadara mitero nenguva. Maybe Mnyaradzi, if you want to reiterate the importance of paying our taxes in full and on time.
All right, thank you for the question. The paying of taxes goes a long way. It's not only in monetary terms, but you see the impact of whatever we are contributing to the fiscus, development of roads, refurbishment of hospitals, assistances in disasters, and a lot is done using what we are contributing to the fiscus. So we encourage all taxpayers, all citizens to be active participants in paying our taxes on time and accurately. I thank you.
Okay, Dana, do you want to add anything? The importance of paying taxes on time and in full.
Thank you. Paying tax is your duty. It is my duty. It is for our nation to grow. It is not for anyone but for us all. And as we look at this system, the FDMS, it's coming to improve our accounting for tax, as well as making it easy for you to be able to capture your invoices, be able to confirm their authenticity without even visiting our offices. We encourage you as our taxpayers to ensure that all your transactions, for those that are required to be on FDMS, they are captured on FDMS. They have QR codes, they are valid. Whenever you have any issues, please write to us and then we will respond to you. We do not want to charge those penalties. We want you to ensure that your businesses flow properly. We do not want to hinder any of your operations, but let us partner together for the betterment of our nation. I thank you.
Okay, and also I think, Bendik, if you can share with us the information, if I am facing challenges with the FDMS system, what should I do, or what are the steps to take? Ndinoenda kupi kuti ndiwane rubatsiro?
Okay, if you are facing challenges with FDMS, you may contact your device supplier as the first person, because he is the one who configured the device. Then you should also notify ZIMRA when you have a challenge with your fiscal device. Well, we see how best we can help you to solve the problem. If your supplier is not responding, you can also contact us. We will help you so that communication is there between you and your supplier.
Okay.
Thank you. Then also, if you are VAT registered, make sure that you are registered for FDMS. You should have a fiscal device. We don't want to charge you penalties. Thank you.
Okay, maybe still on that, or let me give it to Mnyaradzi. What's the penalty for not registering on FDMS if you are VAT compliant?
All right. With FDMS, there are several penalties that are levied for various offenses. So we have a penalty which is levied if you fail to acquire or install a fiscal device. If you are registered for VAT, if we come to your premises and you find out that you are not using a fiscal device but you are registered for VAT, there is a penalty of 1,000 USD or its equivalent in United States dollars. If you have a fiscal device but you tamper with it, there is a penalty of 1,000 USD. Those are some of the penalties that are there, but we encourage our taxpayers to visit our website where you can now see the full list of the penalties that are levied. We also encourage, once you are VAT registered, come to our offices. We'll give you the information for you to onboard to FDMS. We might have skipped this, but for those who are registering VAT or recently registered, you have two options. It's either you go the route of approved suppliers. Approved suppliers, they only supply hardware devices. These are devices that you can touch.
Okay.
They also are capable of supplying virtual solutions. Then you can also go the other route where you yourself as a taxpayer, if you are IT conversant, you can develop what we call the API, which will link your servers to our servers. That's the virtual part that we're talking about. You can develop it on your own, or you can find a relative who is IT versed, or you can find numerous solution suppliers who are there on the market. For the virtual part, you do not necessarily need to approach an approved supplier. You can do it on your own as a taxpayer. But for the hardware devices, now there is a list of approved suppliers on our website, and you can approach those ones. So you have two options. You go virtual, or you can use the hardware devices, or a combination of both.
Thank you so much. Indeed, tingataure kusvikira mangwana kuti vanhu vange vachinzwisisa, but I'm sure we learn something from this conversation. Tanzwa munyaradza chitsanangura miripo iripo pakusatevedza zvisungo zviripo. If you are not compliant, tanzwa achitaura kuti unogona kuzobhadhara penalty $1,000 or equivalent mari yemuno kana kuti if you tamper with your device toziva kana kuri kunzoko kwedu kwatogara kumageto unenge uchitengeserwawo shuga ichinzi 2 kg iyo ya 1.8 ndokutempa kaneskeuro kauko. Saka vari kuti mukazobata mishini iyi muchida kuita kautsotsi pane thaza rakamira rekuti muke muchizoendesawo kuzimra. So ndo imwe yemitero, but he has also said you are free to visit ZIMRA website ndokwa munokwanisa kuwanawo zvekare mapenalties aripo kana maviolator zvimwe zvese zvatakurukura pano. And it is my hope that ne-information iyi muchabatsirikana, it's going to improve even efficiency paku itawo ma-taxes edu tichibhadhara kuzimra tichibhadhara nenguva nekuti taane ruzivo taakuziva kuti zvinofanira kufambiswa sei. But because of time nguva ndo yatirambidza kuti tinge tichienderera mberi. Ndoda kukutendai mese. I want to thank all of you who joined us live on Facebook, on our ZIMRA page, on our Star FM Zimbabwe page. Muchitumirawo zvekare ma questions enyu, ma comments enyu. Tinokutendai zvikuru. We really value your contribution and our officers are going to respond because nekuda kwenguva hatikwanise kuti tikudairei mese one pachirongwa chino, asi our officers are going to ensure that they respond to those questions in the comment sections as well. Thank you so much. Siyabonga lonke ke abasiqhumeke ebulenjini lisuke endaweni ezichiyeneyo. Siyabonga ukuthi libambisane lathi ke kuhlelo lwanamhlanje. Sithemba njalo ukuthi lifundile okunengi ukuthi lingabhadala njani imithelo, lingasebenzisa njani uhlelo olusanda kusungulwa yiZIMRA olwe FDMS ukwenzela ukuthi libhadale lula imithelo yenu. Ngizavalelisa ngokupha isikhumbuzo somthelo we-value added tax kulabo ke abawubhadalayo ukuthi August kumele ke ubhadalwe umhla ka 15 September ungakedluli. Vaye vanobhadara mthelo weZIMRA tichiphetha chirongwa yeuchidzo kuti munofanira kubhadhara musi wa 15 usati wadarika musi wa 15 September. And for all employers, and I just want to remind that payment for payers UN was due yesterday. And if you are registered for the following tax heads, all withholding taxes, intermediate money transfer tax, IMTT, mining royalties, presumptive tax, they were also due yesterday. And let's build our nation by taxes in full and on time. I'm Spatiso Mpofu. I want to thank my officers who were helping us with this discussion. Thank you so much, Munyaradzi Matura, for helping us with this conversation. I also had Bendik Shondo. I also had the beautiful lady Dananai Chibonda. They were helping us with this discussion, and it is my hope that we did learn something. But please keep the conversation going. Keep sending your comments, your contributions. ZIMRA will respond to all of them. Thank you so much.